Well, it's day 3 of Vlog Everyday April, and I've been recovering from my trip to the dentist yesterday. It's 6 o'clock right now, so it's been about 24 hours since I got out of the chair. And I've most of the day I've just been kind of lazing around. I was playing some Minecraft earlier with my buddy Oi. We're working on our big ass castle because who else? What else are you gonna make in Minecraft other than a big ass castle? I'm just taking it easy today. Maybe tomorrow as well. I'm not sure. I want to try to get a little bit of work done tomorrow, but not too hardcore. But I was just looking at my stuff and I came across this, the Barf book. It's just as stupid as it sounds, but there was one passage in here that kind of resonated well with me. The bearded barf. There are several good things about a beard. It'll hide a double chin as well as anything I can think of. It's nice and warm in the winter, and it's something the feminists can't do, at least not very well. The one obvious disadvantage about a beard is that you don't want to have one when you barf. Don't want you to have to endure the horror when beard and barf collide. The hot and cold sweats associated with puking make you want to rip a beard out with your bare hands, and there's nothing less attractive than a beard with chunks of spew clinging to it. Unless maybe it's barf mustache. So, yeah, it's just a stupid book. It seems like it's written by the same guy who did Mad Magazine. Maybe it is Martin Riskin. I don't know if he's related to Mad Magazine, but whatever. I just thought that was a silly passage that kind of resonated with me, but it's gone now. I had to shave to make sure that they could get it to my mouth easier. I was due anyway. I just want to share. I figured I'd share my thoughts on Bioshock Infinite, which recently came out, and I just finished it up this weekend. Bioshock Infinite was really, really good. It's the kind of game they spent so much time working on the setting, so much care and attention to detail was put into all the different levels and everything, all the different areas, all the artwork, and just setting up this really great world for it to be set in. One thing that I noticed about Bioshock Infinite is just how much different Columbia is from Rapture. Even outside the fact that one's in the air and one is underwater, is that Bioshock takes place in a very post-apocalyptic situation. This is what happens when people are told to do whatever the hell they want. They destroy shit. They wreck everything. So as you're going through this city, everything is just wrecked to shit, and you're trying to just survive through it and make your way through. But Columbia is actually a living, breathing city. You're walking around, you're talking to people, you're finding food in trash cans for some reason. I mean, you did that in the first Bioshock, but I mean, you're using the vending machines, which are back as well. I guess they just like the idea of using vending machines. But, I mean, it just feels so much different than Rapture, and it looks a lot better. I mean, it's very similar to the first Bioshock in the sense that it's set in this whole world where they have the premise, and then the plot itself is secondary to that. Where the premise is such a huge, grandiose situation, but then the plot itself is also really good. Like in the first Bioshock, you're set into this area that's so unique from other games that you've played, but it also has a really interesting storyline. I think Bioshock Infinite does the storyline even better than Bioshock. Bioshock only had just kind of that one twist ending where you've been following orders this whole time. But Bioshock Infinite, it actually has a really nice in-depth story. Where, I mean, the first Bioshock, it's like, you have to get here, but first you have to do something else. And Bioshock Infinite kind of indulges in that a couple of times, where it's like, you have to do something for me first before I'll do something for you. And then before you can do that thing for that person, you have to do something else. And so it just kind of has these chains of necessity and chains of requirements before you can complete anything, and it's still a very linear type of game. But it's much less so than Bioshock, where it's like, you have to get to an area, but you can't do that until you do this. And then do that, and then you have to go somewhere else and do something else again. And it's very repetitive in that sense. Bioshock Infinite, once you complete one of those missions that you needed to do, it feels like you're actually getting somewhere. So I think it flows a lot better than the original Bioshock. It's not quite as repetitive. There's no buying new upgrades using Atom, so that's gone. Instead, it's all purely about using money. So you can find a lot more money in this game. The first Bioshock kind of bugged me with the fact that it caps you at like $200, I think. And even though it gives you 4 digits, which was fucking stupid. Okay, I guess I'll be getting into spoilers now. So if you don't want to hear anything else about the game, if you haven't played through it, this is just kind of stuff you can glean this stuff from gameplay footage or whatever. But if you don't want to know anything about the game, you can skip ahead. So that's all I have to say about that. Bioshock Infinite, if you like any previous games in the series, you'll like this one. My main choice for playing through the game was the shotgun, and I liked using the... I kind of alternated between other stuff, but the shotgun was sort of my primary weapon because I suck at aiming. So shotguns, you can get an upgrade with the shotgun that makes the burst so much wider, and that really helps. And you combine that with the Bucking Bronco vigor, and you can pretty much smoke through the whole game. Bucking Bronco will just raise the enemies in the air, and if you can upgrade that, they stay in the air for twice as long. I managed to take out 2 crows. I just used the Bucking Bronco, they're floating in the air, shotgun, 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 reload, shotgun, 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 dead. Both of them dead. So in that sense, I would almost argue that Bioshock Infinite is too easy. So if you're going to play it, I do kind of suggest you play it on hard, except for one segment, which is, not getting into spoilers, but the final battle is really hard. It's definitely, it'll definitely give you a challenge. I died about twice, and I was playing through it on medium. On hard, I imagine I have to play through it several more times, but my suggestion for that is to use the shock jockey traps. Those will really help you for that segment. I like the jumping off of the skyways. That seems to work really well. It's really fun you're flying around those things. But one thing that I was kind of annoyed by is it's kind of hard to aim for them because they use the same context as when you're jumping. So if you're trying to get to one but you're not close enough and you accidentally jump, you have to wait for yourself to calm back down. I mean, it's only like a second or two, but during that time, it feels like it's taking forever because you're getting shot at and you're trying to land so you can get on the skyway again. And fuck the handymans. Fuck those guys. They are... Oh, God, fuck those guys. They're so fucking annoying. But in that sense, I really liked all the different heavy enemies they have. Outside of the big daddies, which don't appear in this game at all. They have the crows, they have the handyman. They have these guys that they come out and they kind of mess up. They make the combat much more challenging because that was the one complaint that I had, is that it's way too easy. I realized that a lot of people were angry that they put multiplayer into Bioshock 2. But I think multiplayer would work really well in this game. I mean, you wouldn't all players wouldn't be able to play as like Booker DeWitt. You could just play like the Vox Populi versus Comstock's men, and we'd be fighting at each other team-based. I think that would work really well, because all those guys have that same ability of being able to jump onto the Skyway and use characters, be able to like summon Patriots and use those as your attackers. The players themselves wouldn't necessarily play as like the Patriots or Crows or people like that, but they could gain them onto their side and use them as AI-controlled teammates. I think that would work really well in multiplayer. So I think Bioshock Infinite, even more than Bioshock 2, would lend itself really well to multiplayer, and I hope that they actually do add that in. I'm not even a big multiplayer gaming fan. I can't stand Team Fortress 2, and I tend to prefer cooperative gameplay more than competitive, but I think multiplayer in Bioshock Infinite would work really well. I think that would be really fun. So maybe in a future DLC pack, maybe something like that. So yeah, my thoughts on Bioshock Infinite. Great game. Probably want to play through a second time, but I got a shitload of other games to play through right here. And as you can see, Bioshock Infinite's crossed off. I kind of want to play through again, but that's kind of the folly of having so many games to play through. You're not making a decision to play one, you're making a decision to not play 14 others. So yeah, this is my vlog for April 3rd. My thoughts on Bioshock Infinite. I'm healing well. They gave me pills, so I feel much better. I just took some about an hour ago, so I'm good to go for the evening. Everybody take care. 3 down, 27 to go.